What's up, beautiful people? It's Sindærfam. Welcome to the channel. Today we're going to be checking this video, and it's titled "What Happened to Wanda Smith After Katt Williams Roast." Okay, I'm excited to check this one out. Let's check it out.
As a child of the 90s and the early 2000s living in Atlanta, you were more than likely exposed to popular radio stations like V103 and Hot 107.9, along with a roster of talented radio personalities. These individuals entertain all while being informative and active in their respective communities. One being DJ Chris Lova, who would go on to be multi-platinum Grammy Award-winning rapper and actor Chris Ludacris Bridges. Another individual who would make a lane for herself in radio is comedian Wanda Smith. Aside from radio, you might remember Wanda Smith from her viral roast session with Katt Williams. Some think that roast battle has something to do with why you don't hear from Wanda Smith anymore. Here's what happened to Wanda Smith. Smith started her career in the late 90s when she hosted shows like The Frank Ski Morning Show, Wanda in the Morning, and The Ryan Cameron Morning Show, with her career spanning over more than 2 decades. Along with her on-air duties, Smith made guest appearances and hosted events for her loyal listeners. As well as a radio personality, she's also a comedian and actress, appearing in films such as Madea Goes to Jail and Madea's Witness Protection. Wanda calls stand-up her first love, performing often at the Atlanta Comedy Theater. She was even featured on Def Comedy Jam and Comic View. In 2018, Katt Williams was stopped by V103 for an interview on the Frank Ski and Wanda in the Morning radio show. In the interview, Katt spoke on his deal with Netflix and explained how Netflix justifies its offers to stand-up comedians, briefly mentioning the streaming platform's controversy with Monique. Katt also spoke on his peers like Tiffany Haddish, Lil Rel, Gerard Carmichael, Kevin Hart, and Hannibal Buress. But Katt's main criticism was towards Tiffany Haddish. She's been doing comedy since she was 16. You can't tell me your favorite Tiffany Haddish joke. Why? Because she ain't done a tour yet. She ain't done a special. She has not proven the ability to tell jokes back to back for an hour to nobody. The topic of conversation was switched to Katt and his children, where Wanda asked what food he cooks for his kids that they like. Once Katt began to answer, Wanda cut him off. Those who were present during the interview erupted in laughter, and just like that, the roast session began. Williams would then attack Smith's makeup, cooking, hair, clothes, and blood pressure. Wanda's rebuttals were lost in Katt's rapid-fire delivery, and he did not let up. It was clear that Wanda could not keep up. The video clip of Katt and Wanda has since amassed millions of views on the internet, as many would chime in and add their thoughts on the battle between the two comedians. Wanda Smith became the victim of a viral moment. When asked about the exchange, Smith revealed that Williams wasn't originally scheduled to be interviewed, but was asked to join in with fellow comedian Red Grant. According to sources, she explained she looked into his eyes and knew he wasn't just shooting the dozens, but it felt like an attack. I'm excited that he's coming in. So once he got in, I was excited to really have him in the studio, to be honest with you. I felt like as he started to talk in the beginning, he had an agenda, like to attack me, and I kept feeling some type of way. I felt the tension.
Wow.
I said, okay, where's this going? Honestly, because of the respect that I have for him, I feel like he's one of the comics that has made it. Every time I would ask him something or say something, it was like he kind of came for me. I'm not that kind of comedian. I don't go tit for tat. That's not what I do. Just because of the respect that I have for him. When he started coming at me, it kind of threw me off. I didn't know how to retaliate or how to come back because that's not how I wanted to talk to him. I didn't want to talk to him like that. I didn't want to go back and forth with him because of the respect. So when it kept going on and on and on, as a person that has integrity, I had to say something back. And I didn't want to. It turns out the beef between the two wouldn't stop at the radio station. According to the Gwinnett County Police Department, it was reported that same weekend, Smith's husband, Lamore Sellers, pulled a gun out on Katt Williams and pointed it at his face. This news comes after Katt allegedly confronted Smith once more outside of the Atlanta Comedy Theater. Sellers told police that Williams had a verbal fight with Smith. Sellers approached Williams and chased him towards a nearby grocery store. While Sellers was chasing Williams, a gun fell from his waistband and he stopped to get it. Sellers denies pointing a gun at anyone. A police report was filed by the Gwinnett County Police with Williams stating that Smith's husband pointed a gun at him outside of the Atlanta Comedy Theater. According to the police report, Lamore...
Okay, it was a back and forth. So now the problem is you diss on somebody. You just can't take it. You give out the food that you know you can't take. At the end of the day, coming out to play the victim and to play the woman card. You see the problem, you see the mindset of so many of these people. It just don't make sense. But of course, it's always the man's fault, or he's always gonna favor or benefit the woman. Now having her husband come at Katt Williams, was it all that necessary? Sure. But yeah, let's go.
To the police report, Lamor's Sellers' gun had merely fallen out. Sellers told the cops he did not point a gun at him or chase him to a nearby grocery store. The owner of the Atlanta Comedy Theater, Gary Abdu, said he was in the V103 studio when the exchange happened and said it was super tense between Smith and Williams. Smith went on the air and said, "When I walked outside of the door, I saw Katt Williams and his bodyguard walking up toward the comedy club. He saw me and made a beeline to where I was. He said, 'I told you effing with me would make you go viral.' My husband said, 'Hey dog, find something else to do, dog.' And then Katt said, 'I'll jump on you.' And then, you know." That's when her husband got upset, but for legal reasons, she said she could not go into details about. Video from the nearby food depot showed Sellers chasing Williams, but no evidence of a gun. Later that day, the cops stopped by, but the incident happened outside of the camera's view. Williams chose not to prosecute, and the incident even leaked over the V103 morning show. Some listeners in support of Smith stating Williams' behavior was inappropriate. "You invited hatred in," a caller said. "He did not come in love. You guys were the portal." Others objected and said she should be able to handle it as a fellow comic, that she can dish it out but can't take it. Co-host Fransky defended himself after being questioned by listeners on why he didn't cut the interview short by saying, "I see two comedians going back and forth." Following the incident in 2018, at the top of 2019, it was reported that V103 and Wanda Smith had parted ways. There was no official statement on what caused the decision, even with the morning show earning solid ratings throughout most of the year. But it led to speculation that it was the interaction with Williams a few months prior. Smith's colleague, Miss Sophia, who was let go at the same time, spoke with the Atlanta Voice and said she's not sure why they were let go by the station. However, even Miss Sophia couldn't help but wonder if the Katt Williams drama contributed to Smith's departure. "I can't say. I don't know. But that may have something to do with it. But, of course, they aren't going to share that information with us. I can only assume. So, I don't know. Me personally, I felt something big was going to happen because it put the station in a bigger light. Not the Katt Williams situation, but afterwards at the club with her husband bringing the gun, and that became a big story. You all know that we have in our contract that we can't bring any embarrassment or shame to the employer that we are working for." Nearly a year after the incident in October 2019, it was reported that Smith would be a part of Ricky Smiley's new radio show in 2020. Smith shared the news on her social media saying, "Ricky Smiley and Wanda Smith will do big things together. 2020 get ready world. 60 markets of nothing but great things for the people." Smiley's publicist confirmed that Smith would serve as Smiley's community ambassador, working between Atlanta, Birmingham, and Dallas, in addition to co-hosting karaoke events with Smiley. Smith eventually took the post down after the story was reported, as it was cleared up that Smith wouldn't be a talent on the actual radio show. After spending decades in the radio circuit, it's hard to imagine that Wanda Smith wouldn't make a return to airwaves soon. As the news of Smith's contributions to Smiley's show came out, there was some speculation that although Smith wouldn't be a main talent, there could be some guest opportunities. But as of now, Smith continues to perform stand-up comedy around the Southeast as Atlanta's own favorite lady. Stay up to date with the latest in news by subscribing here to our YouTube channel, follow Comedy Hype across all social media, and look out for more original content on our new streaming platform at comedyhype.com.
You see, you can dish it, but you can't take it. That's the problem. Lots of these people just think that, oh, coming at somebody and expect not the person not to come out to you, and then at the end of the day you come to say, oh, you were not supposed to, you were not gonna do it, he came at you first. But I mean, many people heard this and people listened to this, and from what we heard, it was you that started it. You came at him and for his hair. And then when he dished it out, now it's about, oh, he started it first, I didn't want to, but after everything I had to. But then at the end, after that, her husband going to attack him. Like, was it all necessary? It just don't make sense. They're going to look for a way to point it to blame somebody else, because it's not always their fault, but someone else's fault, or someone made them or started it, so they had to. But of course, these are the things that happen. Like sometimes with comedy or with comics, sometimes not everybody can take a joke, And people, especially those in that scene, if you're dishing out it to somebody, be ready to take it. If you know you're not ready to take it, then don't dish it out. It's that simple. Why give it out when you can't take it? And this is also what happens in Hollywood, happens amongst people. People have a not so friendly conversation, and at the end of the day, they thought they're going to settle it there. But later on, somebody get all up in their feelings and got offended and decide to do something to the other person for coming at them. When you started it, just to make sense. Why was her husband chasing Katt Williams? But of course, that's the story for another time. But yeah, I understand this was old, but now that this is surfacing and the conversation is popping up and all, I thought it would be necessary to check this one out as well, because so many things happens in Hollywood, and sometimes some of these things happens and people don't even hear about it, or people don't even know what goes on or what happens, because the other party or the other person is not in the picture to tell the story. Thank God that nothing happened and we get to hear the story. But all the same, I'm sure tons of people have got a different opinion regarding this, and I would really love your honest contribution to this. You can share other useful information you think might be really helpful. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe and all of that stuff. And until next time, see you in the next video.